Hello, Tim. I'm Alicia Duffy, your realtor, and I'm here at your house. I did a video of the entire house, and now I'm talking to Daryl, your inspector, and he is going to walk us through the inspection report. Come over here, Daryl,
Okay.
and introduce yourself.
Hey Tim, I'm Daryl, and I've already sent you a copy of the inspection report. She videoed going through the entire inspection report, so we're going to kind of go through and hit some of the highlights.
And here, I'll come back and do the kitchen. Garage. I'll be out there in a minute. Here's the master. Okay, this is your inspector.
Hey Tim, I'm Daryl. I'm going to show you an issue here in the master shower.
And there's up the closet. Okay, and then the toilet back here. Okay, what's that behind you? Another closet?
Closet, yeah.
All right, I wish I had both those closets. Okay.
Okay, in the base of the shower pan, you might have to zoom in on it. It's just to the northeast of that drain. See that crack? I'll point it out to you. Right there. So it's about 3 inches long.
So teeny tiny, isn't it? So can it just be filled?
Yeah, this is a fiberglass pan. I actually have a guy that does that.
Okay. So you can't just fill it with
No, they have to.
regular, like,
They're gonna have to.
silicone?
No, they have to grind it out and then do a fiberglass repair on it.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep the video going.
Okay. These two outlets right here are connected to the GFI outlet in that hall bathroom. So if they lose power here, they have to reset it in that hall bathroom.
I just went to another inspection, but it was the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
All the outside outlets reset to a GFI in the garage.
Oh, okay.
So if someone puts Christmas lights up and it trips, the reset's in the garage.
Yes, I've had that problem before, having to run back and forth.
Now you might want to just kind of zoom in on my report here. All right, so the first thing I said, the house faces north for orientation. There's no signs of any foundation movement. So there's a picture of the front page of the report. Moving on to the first section of the report is the foundation. So no indicators of any foundation movement. The mulch is a little high on both sides of the front entry. You can see where the dirt is above the brick line there. That's on that patio. So those are areas that if you're going to get termites, that's where they show up because they're undetected.
So that needs to be kicked away.
Yeah, as much as they can. Gutter downspout is missing the splash block over here on the southeast side of the garage.
Okay.
Looks like when they did the roof, they didn't do the gutters, so some of the gutters have hail damage on them, but they're still functional.
Okay. So they're not big dents, they're just like little.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So those two crepe myrtles in the front of the house are close, and that provides a nice ladder for squirrels to get up on the roof. And these lead boots here, this is what they do. They chew on them.
Oh.
So you've got some exposed areas where water actually can leak down between the vent boot and the pipe. So, and there's some water stains on the framing in the attic around the chimney. And it looks like it just needs a roofer to kind of come do some general maintenance. The caulking on the nail heads is kind of deteriorated. Caulking on the rain collars is deteriorated. That caulk lasts like 4 or 5 years. So every 4 or 5 years, you're at a point where you want to do maintenance. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, just routine maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of the crepe myrtles, here's a picture of one being right next to the house. You know, they're getting up there. The squirrels are kind of chewing on the fascia boards and freeze boards. So there's some repair needed in some of that cornice work. And
Can you show me that when we're done with
Yeah,
this?
absolutely.
Okay. I mean, I think that needs to be cut back anyway, just for,
Yeah.
because insurance doesn't like that one.
the exterior's at a point, and I made that recommendation that once you fix those damaged areas and try to paint them, they're not going to match because the paint's old. So fix those areas and then repaint the outside of the house.
Okay.
And then there's when you print this out, let me go to a print preview here. I superimposed a picture of one of those post tension cables over the top of that. This thing's going slow here.
Can you turn it just a little bit my way? We're going to be close up on it. Might as well be able to actually see it.
Let me get it to that spot here. Okay, so on the west side of the house, this is what they look like. I just took a picture far back to show that just about every one of those post tension cables need to be repatched, and then there's one close up.
Okay.
Where the refrigerant lines come into the house on the east side, there's some openings in that mortar that need to be patched up. Those are all entry points for
Rodents.
critters. And then there's a vertical crack at the southeast corner of the master bedroom. Those are more like a thermal expansion joint, so those have a tendency to open up just with heat and cooling.
And there's nothing to do with those,
Other than
right?
patch it, yeah.
Oh, you should patch it?
Yeah, you should patch it.
Even though it probably closes and opens?
It'll do it, but it's like every 3 or 4 years you have to do it.
Okay. Because
So-
it's really cold today versus, you know, so.
Right. The I put blue tape on all the windows that I could see that had lost their seal.
Okay.
I think there was like 15. So I identified the areas they were in and how many were in that area. So the kitchen nook has one.
You know, we're going to go through and I'm going to have you show me all
Okay.
those. So.
Okay. And then I made mention of the water stain around the window in the east middle bedroom. And then I made a mention here that she stated it was from the air conditioner freezing over.
Okay.
Or freezing up. And then some of the windows have moisture damage on the window sills. They've sanded them down and repainted them at some point. And all the outside window frames need to be recaulked.
I mean, does it look like it's like just moisture from the windows, or does it look like they left the window open and it rained?
I think it's probably, you know, some of these houses have a tendency to the glass condensate on the inside, and then that ends up on the seal board.
Yeah. Did you ask her if it?
I didn't.
Okay. I'll ask her when we walk by her.
Fireplace is good. So the next section is electrical. The branch circuits are the service entrance panel. This house has got CSST gas piping. That's corrugated stainless steel tubing. It's yellow piping up in the attic essentially, as opposed to black iron pipe. And this manufacturer put out a one sheet several years ago about bonding it. It's kind of like a safety update, you know, on your car. So the one sheet basically talks about bonding the CSST or the black pipe coming in from the panel box to the gas pipe. So the gas line coming in and the electric meter are on the same side of the house, so that's the easiest place to bond it. You either bond it at the gas line coming in, if that's close. Sometimes the gas line's on the other side of the house, or you bond it to the manifold up in the attic.
When you say bonded, you just mean?
Basically, they just run a wire to it, a number 6 bare copper, and then they use the proper clamp to attach a bond wire to it.
So whoever put that
Elect.
safety thing out, do they have any kind of,
Yeah, they have a one sheet out there on how to do it.
other than that, they don't help pay for it?
Nah, nope.
Is it an easy fix though?
It's easy, and this one's
It's
easy.
easy.
It's easy because the gas line and the electric meter are on the same side, just about 8 feet from each other.
Okay, so just
It's easy.
any electrical,
Electrician can do it. The cover plate's missing from the outlet in the laundry room,
okay,
and then the northeast bedroom, that's that front bedroom, the ceiling fan doesn't work. I got up there and pulled on the chain. It's not responding.
okay.
So the furnace unit, that was the only thing I could run here. It's too cold to run the air conditioner. But the gas line coming into the furnace unit doesn't have a sediment trap. That code came into effect in 2009. So, I mean,
Grandfathered in with,
yeah, I mean, we don't really grandfather anything. We have to tell you about everything. But
right. But what does a sediment trap do? Why did they start
basically,
2009?
any debris that would be in the gas line, it falls down into that trap as opposed to going into the regulator. When they replaced the water heater, they did put a sediment trap in.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the code reads, is when you, like, if you have to change the furnace unit out, that's when you have
Then
to
you
bring
do
it to
it.
that standard.
Okay, okay. So it doesn't need to be done until it's replaced.
The air conditioner unit is a 1999 model, so it's the original train unit. It's too cold. It has to be above 60 degrees before we can even turn them on. And even then, it doesn't have, there's no load on it. So it doesn't give you an idea what it's going to do in 800-degree temperature.
Mm-hmm.
But the couple things that I observed with it are the primary condensate drain. Looks like they've done some work on that. That pipe is the drain for the air conditioner. Anytime the AC's on, it's draining condensation off that evaporator coil. It should have a P-trap, and it should be insulated. The other two comments I made was it was too cold, and that's the original unit, so you might want to have an HVAC guy come out and check it out.
Yeah, can you not do the test of how much it's cooling out, even though it's not going to be cooling very much?
You can damage the unit by turning it on when it's too cold outside.
Okay.
What happens, most people don't know this, but the outside unit is your compressor condensing unit. So what goes into that compressor is refrigerant. So it goes in as a gas. When it gets too cold, it'll out, the outside temperature will actually cause that gas to go to a liquid. So when you turn the compressor on, it's pulling that liquid in as opposed to pulling the gas in. It causes your head pressure to go high, and it'll mess the unit up.
Could it make the compressor break?
It can. It can make the reed valves go bad.
Because I just had another property with an inspection a couple of days ago, and the compressors broke now, and it was cold. It was cold when they did it. That's why I was asking if you can't do any.
Yeah, you can't do it. I mean, you know from science and from physics that you can't compress a liquid.
Yeah.
If you take a lawnmower and dump it upside down and oil gets on the top side of the piston and then you try to go pull the rope, it won't pull. It'll have a hydraulic lock. That same thing happens on a compressor on an AC unit.
And this obviously is the older unit, so are they still repairing the air conditioners now?
Yeah, it's got the old refrigerant in there, so I mean that's why you at this point you probably, if you have a breakdown on it, the economics is going to be to change it, not to repair it.
And does it, when you have to change it because of that, because of the part that's phasing out, do you have to do the entire? Or is it just one?
Because it's you have old refrigerant, so your new stuff doesn't hold that old refrigerant. So.
Right. So you have to do the condenser unit outside and then all the stuff inside.
Everything.
Anything else like
the furnace unit can stay if it's still good. So a lot of times when they, if the air conditioner gets replaced, that would, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would make sense to put a new AC system on an old furnace unit because your blower motors aren't as efficient. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to get to that, efficiency of the unit, change out the whole system. Which a house like this will probably about $7,000 roughly.
Okay.
The under plumbing, the first section that I wrote up, or just kind of made a comment under, is I put it in gray. Is I look at the water meter before I ever come into the house. So if there's any movement through the meter, it's going to show up there. Mm-hmm. So I said there was no signs of any movement in the meter.
Okay.
The master bath, we just videoed that. The crack in the shower pan.
Okay.
The hall bath has got some grout openings in that tub tile, and that faucet for the tub valve is a Moen faucet, so they have a tendency to, when you rotate to hot, they won't, water won't flow out. The pressure will be low if you're not using it on a consistent basis. So this one's going to need a new cartridge, because when I rotate it to hot, it just kind of barely trickles out. I took a picture of it. When you rotate it to cold, it's significantly more water than that.
Okay, maybe you can show me that too.
Yeah. And then on the outside, there's 3 outside hose bibs to connect a garden hose to. The 2 on the east side of the house, when I turn them on, they drip at the stem. Most of the time, that's you can adjust the packing nut, tighten that up, and get that to stop.
Okay, but it doesn't drip when it's turned off?
No.
Okay.
The water heater's newer. This piece of PVC pipe that's sticking out, the brick's wet because I ran the sprinkler. But that's your temperature pressure relief valve pipe. So that should have an elbow down to the ground. It's broken.
Okay. Is that an easy fix?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can just like glue the
Glue
little
an elbow,
thing
yeah.
to it. Okay.
The next thing that I wrote up is in the sprinklers. Oh, sorry, the dryer. The dryer vent on the roof, that vent is screened. So it's been, she thinks it happened when they did the roof 4 or 5 years ago, but she's never had the dryer vent cleaned. So it's dumping lint all into the attic. This is a picture of the furnace unit. You can see the lint's all over that.
That's a safety hazard, right?
Yeah.
That needs to be blown off or cleaned up.
Yeah, all that needs to be cleaned up. Dryer vent needs to be cleaned, and then that vent needs to be changed out to the right type of vent.
Yeah. So it's completely closed, or is it?
Yeah, it's clogged up.
Well, I mean the cover that they put on it, is it closed? I can't really see.
That's all lint in the screen.
Okay.
The sprinkler system has 8 zones. There's the conduit that has all the control wires coming out from the control box. It looks like someone hit it with a mower. That's not feasible to pull all the wires out and put new conduit in. So basically, you just need to put something around that pipe to protect those wires from any UV exposure.
Okay.
And then the zone 2 is in the front yard. It's leaking all over the sidewalk there. It looks like maybe a guy ran over her head or something.
Okay. So the head needs to be replaced.
That's it on the report.
Awesome. Okay, and then we're gonna go take a look at some of this. I'm gonna stop
there's
this
a
video.
couple things here I need to.
Okay, we just walked down the hallway to one of the spare bedrooms. He's showing us the windows that have the seals broke. You want to tell him real quick what that means?
So what these are double pane windows. So there's a piece of glass on the inside and one on the exterior. That seal, when that seal goes bad, it lets moisture get between the glass. And you can kind of see there's a residue here that if you try to clean the window, it's not going to wipe off because it's actually between the glass. This is the east middle bedroom. So this bedroom there's the air conditioner on the outside of the house where the refrigerant lines go up through the attic. This AC unit froze up at one point, according to the seller. And you can kind of see there's a faint discoloration in the paint in the ceiling there and above the windows and kind of running down. That was where as that AC drain line thawed out, and it was dripping that condensation above this window.
Okay, so it wasn't.
So that's where this water damage came from.
Okay.
And then this is a seal board right here, the window seal. You can see that's had some damage. Some of the other windows have the same thing. I think this one was probably from that leak or from that condensate. I'm sorry, the refrigerant line thawing out.
Okay.
But that board is MDF. That's modified density fiber, so it's basically pressed paper. So if you were to take a glass of water and put it on there, that would leave a ring in the actual seal board. So sometimes these windows have a tendency to get condensation on them when the outside temperature's below freezing and it's warm inside. So it's kind of the same principle as a glass of ice water and the temperature around is warm, so it's condensating. That ends up on these seal boards.
Yeah, they need to make them a little bit stronger.
They need to put real wood in there.
So I know most of the time I tell my clients when it comes to windows that have the seals broke that depending on the degree of it, because sometimes if it is broke, it might be that way for years and years and do nothing, and other times it's cloudy and to the point where it's not just that, you know, the aesthetic of not being able to see out the window because it's cloudy,
Right.
but then also, I mean, what exactly does that seal do?
Yeah, I
when
mean
it's
that's
broke?
really these double pane gives you that thermal seal. These windows here are builder grade windows, so the what they call the R value is the insulation value of the window. The window is like a R2 or R3, so it's a nominal insulation value. This particular type, so it's the effect of losing the seal is more aesthetic than it is functional.
Yeah. How do you ever see that it goes bad really fast, or?
I mean, I've seen brand new windows go bad on brand new construction, so it's just
Yeah.
kind of a roll of the dice.
Okay. I just know I've pointed out to several. They're like, it's been that way since we bought it 5 years ago. You know. So.
And I think I counted up, and when you go through that report, Tim, you'll see that I put a number wherever we were in the house of how many windows were. I think we counted up 15 altogether.
Yeah. Usually I have found if there's a couple, it's all because it's just the
Yeah, I
windows,
mean it's
so.
it's pretty typical for the age of this house to see that.
Yeah. Now, is that the most severe seal that's broke?
Yeah,
or?
well, not so much. I just wanted to show the water stains
water stain,
on
okay.
the sheetrock here.
Well, which one would you think is the most severe?
It's more so in the master bedroom.
Okay. Okay. Was there any back here while we're back here? Or anything else you wanted to?
This
Oh,
one.
there's one.
Yeah, there's one here, and this ceiling fan in this room doesn't work.
Well, I think that's old enough. It needs to be replaced anyway.
I mean, and so some of these windows, I use my flashlight to reflect into that glass, so I can see it easier than you can without using a light.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Is it wet because you ran the sprinklers?
No, it's actually what I was looking for is the residue in the glass that shows up when I put my flashlight on there.
But I'm seeing wet now.
Yeah, it might be because I ran the sprinkler.
Okay, because of the sprinkler. Because I know sometimes I've seen it where you can see all up in there. But okay, so with that wasn't wet.
Actually, that one right there is wet. I can see it. I can
Yeah.
see it between the glass.
Yeah, and this one that doesn't look bad. I don't even know where it is that the seal is broke. So.
This is the attic entrance. That's where you get to your AC system. And this bathroom right here is this bathroom has the reset for the master bathroom outlets. See, that's the ground fault circuit interrupter. Mm-hmm. So if you lose power on your outlets in the master bath, that's where you'll reset it.
Is this one that had the hot that didn't run?
Yes.
Right. You want to show me real quick, or does it have to be like really hot?
And you can see the volume of water coming out when it's cold, and then when you go all the way hot, you see how it reduces.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the cartridge on this valve is bad.
The cartridge is bad.
Yep. Yeah, basically, Moen has a website dedicated to that issue. It happens if you don't use the faucet very often.
Well, I have a kitchen sink that does the exact same thing since it was installed. Does that mean cartridge?
There might be some debris in there. You know, if you.
I've had people clean it out too.
Oh yeah. And there's a cover plate missing on that.
And that was
behind the washing machine.
okay. And that was the only thing in here, right? Okay. And
You can see the dining room window. The upper left one's got some water on it. These actually.
okay.
Let me get underneath you here.
Okay. So the one.
I mean, it's not to a point. Some of them turn a milky white where you actually can't
Oh
see
yeah,
through it.
yeah. This one I was like, I do see that
Yeah,
one.
you can see the water on the
Yeah.
glass there.
Of course, I don't know you'd ever have those blinds open to look at your neighbor, but that is definite. That's more significant than the other one.
There was 3 in this family living room.
Okay, I was going to show this part of the kitchen because I didn't get it. I think she was mid putting her groceries up.
You want to go look outside?
Sure. And then, I guess, it was just that window here.
There's 3 there.
Okay.
All of them have that piece of blue tape on them.
Okay.
That middle one is the one you kind of see where it's starting, the residue starting to show up, where it's kind of distorting the look through the glass.
Yeah, right there. Mhm. Okay. How much are these windows?
They're about $100 a piece, roughly. So at the front entrance here, the mulch is a little high on both sides.
If I had sneakers on, I'd go fix it right now.
So because of these crepe myrtles and all the foliage that's so close to the house, it provides easy access for squirrels to get up
Right.
and start chewing.
Oh, yeah.
You can see on that freeze board there where they chewed on it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the bad thing is that squirrels kind of jump too, don't they?
Yeah, they can jump.
Yeah. You have to probably take down just a couple of those branches.
And then to the
Yeah.
left, just right below that gutter downspout, you can see that fascia board has some damage.
Okay.
It looks worse if you're looking at it from the entrance back in. Kind of get in there and look up at it. When you see it from there, you have to be like standing right here.
Yeah, okay. Pretty minor.
Here's some more. You can see that they just have easy access to go straight from the crepe myrtle to
Right.
Here's some more in the fascia.
Okay.
These are your post-tension cables. So these basically you don't want to see any of that cable, so it needs to be patched with concrete.
Okay.
That's
Easy
all.
fix.
That's all down the west side. You can kind of see the windows where the caulking's dried up on the windows in this area. So one of the things I talked about in repairing some of this damaged cornice work is to repaint the outside. So when they repaint, generally they'll recaulk the windows too. Just want to specify that. This one first.
Yeah, I've had some that they didn't even fill them at all.
Yeah. So this is your sewer vent pipe.
Okay.
You stand over here and
You
look
can
on
see
that.
that it's
You can see
chewing
where
up.
the squirrel's been chewing
Yeah.
on that lead and
Okay.
exposing that pipe. So those are all water points.
Okay, so that
And
needs
looking
to be-
further up, that is your dryer vent.
Oh, okay.
You can see it's screened, and so the vent is totally clogged up and it's dumping lint into the attic.
Okay.
So it's got enough lint to where it's on top of the furnace vent pipe or the furnace unit.
Mhm.
That needs to be cleaned. And there's the pipe
Okay.
on the north side of the garage for the
That needs the elbow.
it needs the elbow. That's your pressure relief valve, and this pipe is the drain pan pipe for the water heater.
Okay.
And then this is the sprinkler conduit. You see where the guy hit it with the mower,
Oh.
exposing those wires.
Mhm.
So that needs to be. You can either tape it, or some people will take that tree guard for new trees and put it around there.
Mhm.
It's not feasible to pull all those wires out. You'll never get them back into the wall trying
Yeah.
to replace that conduit.
Okay. Well, your mower did that and didn't. My lawn guy eats my soaker hoses
Yeah.
like every time.
Here's the gas line coming into the house right here,
Okay, so that's
and
what.
that is your electric meter right there. So when they bond that gas
fix that
line,
thing.
they'll come off the electric meter, and then they'll put a bond wire right here on
Oh,
this.
okay. So, yeah, that'll be easy. So it'll be on the outside,
Yeah,
just hanging there. Or?
yeah. I mean, sometimes they'll run it through the wall or down through the attic here and up down over.
Mhm.
Depends on who does it. Sometimes that repair is a lot harder because the gas line's on the opposite side of the house of
Right.
the electric meter. So
Yeah.
this one's easy.
That would be.
You can see some of the hell hits, the little hits on the gutters here. So when they
yeah.
replaced the roof, that they just probably left the old gutters in place. You can kind of see how the comment that I made about recaulking and painting the exterior of the house, see the trim boards.
trim
If you let
boards.
that go for too long, it'll start to rot on
Oh
you.
yeah. I'm gonna do a quick pan around. Wow, they have a
Huge
both
backyard.
have fancy fences
Yeah.
over there. Yeah, it is a really big backyard.
Here's the downspout that needs a splash block on it.
Okay.
And then over here
And
on
you
the side,
the splash block, just so he'll
Yeah,
know, is just that
that
little
little green extender.
that little extender right there, just to move the water away from the house, so when it rains, it doesn't sit next to the foundation.
So these two windows, I think, are probably the worst from an aesthetic standpoint. You can kind of see
Oh yeah.
it's gotten enough water in between there where that water and metals kind of started corrosion along the base.
Oh yeah. That's a definite.
And then over here, there's where these little cracks are. These are thermal expansion cracks. This one's the worst.
Hey, you just broke the house. A piece
Yeah,
of-
basically a brick mason guy will come in here and grind that out and then
Mhm.
repoint it with new mortar.
Okay.
And that'll be something that happens every 4 or 5 years. You'll have to repoint it.
Okay. And the there's no other cracks that are more foundation
There's
indicative.
no differential movement in this house.
Okay. Okay. So just so
Grind
that
that
doesn't
out.
mean foundation. This doesn't mean foundation. It's okay.
And then looking back over here, you see you have 5 of those vents. The furthest northeast one has some damage to it. And then that taller vent pipes, the furnace vent pipe, you can see that rain collar needs to be recaulked. And then the nail heads that hold these down, the caulking's dried up. So essentially, when you have a roof every 5 years, you got to send somebody up there to kind of do maintenance on it. And that's kind of where we are with this roof.
And when they replace the roof, they typically do all that, right?
Yeah, they did all that, but now it's 5 years later.
Right, yeah.
So you're at that point where
So
it needs
if
some
you-
maintenance.
If you've had your roof replaced, I've had my roof replaced about every 5 years because of hail. So I haven't had to worry about that.
Yeah, most people don't.
Of course, they got those. I have squirrels too that run all along my fence, and I didn't ever think about them jumping up on my roof. I need to go look at them. Yeah, here it show a little bit of the alleyway. So the sprinklers go all the way back here. Okay. That is a tall fence. Get perspective. Okay. That's nice. It can come right in. Okay. I didn't get the garage for anything, so I'm gonna do a quick 2-car garage. There's the hot water here. You said that was
It's newer. She should have that in her disclosure once she changed it out.
yeah. Okay. And then there's another attic.
That one doesn't have stairs. It's just an opening.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a big opening.
Yeah, I mean, they
Most of the
can
houses
easily-
over here have the little bitty
You can
openings.
easily put a set of stairs in there.
We're back in. Talking to Daryl. Here's his card.
Well, you've got, by now you should have the inspection report, and it's easy to reach me by email, or you can have your attorney reach out to me with any questions. For the age of the house, pretty good house. I mean, it's been the original owner, so those are kind of hard to find. And it's in a nice area, nice cul-de-sac lot, big yard. So all in all, the stuff that's in the report is pretty typical for the age of this house. I would say it's got a pretty good school card, all in all.
Awesome. Thank you, Daryl.
You bet.